Hi guys, I'm here with Dr. Rupy Aujla of Doctor's Kitchen. Hi Rupy. And we're at the annual international conference for the Institute for Functional Medicine. So thank you so much for joining me, Rupy. I know we're on a quick break between all the presentations. My brain's a bit fried.
It's okay, I think we all are,
So this year it's all about autoimmunity and the gut, and I know that's a big subject for you. So tell us a little bit about what brought you to Doctor's Kitchen and why you feel so passionately about food as medicine.
So I started the Doctor's Kitchen a couple of years ago now. The main aim of it was to teach people how to create healthy recipes and teach them the basics of clinical nutrition and why food can be medicinal. I had the idea after I got ill myself with atrial fibrillation, which is a cardiac condition where your heart beats irregularly and very fast in my case, and I was able to overcome that with lifestyle. And I talk a bit more about like the different sorts of elements of lifestyle in my book and my content and all the rest of it as well. And I had the idea, and I was seeing patients, I was training as a general practitioner, and I started creating recipes for them. I was running late in clinic and I thought there's got to be an easy way of doing this, so I started a website and I got behind a camera on YouTube and just started the project that way. So I'm very passionate because I know that there is so much benefit that people can have if they just knew how to cook for themselves, and why what you choose to put on your plate is one of the most important health interventions that anyone can make. And if we can nudge people towards these healthy habits, then we're looking at a much better proactive population that can take care of themselves instead of relying on doctors to prescribe.
And that's such a different way of looking at healthcare, isn't it? It's all about empowering people to actually take care of their own health, as you just said, rather than just sort of pitching up, you know, in your office and saying, you know, hi doctor, can you fix me? So it's I think it's more going back to the origins really of medicines, how I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that analogy of, like, you know, people taking care of themselves, because you want to see the doctor as the last point of call rather than the first point of call. Not to say that you should never see a doctor, you should be worried about seeing anyone from the medical profession. It's more about getting the basics right. And I think in a lot of the cases that I see, people haven't got the basics right because they haven't been taught it from family, or we've lost the community aspect of cooking, or the fact that it's not taught in schools, or we don't value the importance of our ingredients and where it comes from, and all these sorts of things. So if we get back to that, then we can actually help people, protect them, and reduce the burden on our healthcare system.
It's just a win-win.
I think so,
I use your book a load, and I love to cook from it. And what was really interesting to me is a few months ago I started with a sore throat and I started feeling ill, and I just innately knew that I wanted to reach for your book and cook a tarka dal, which is not something I grew up eating, you know. And it really made me think, because I know a few years ago I would have been straight out to the chemist or sent someone to the chemist and stocked up on all my Lemsips and night nurse and day nurse and all of that, which of course would have just suppressed the symptoms a little bit, and I would have just been ill for a week. And it was such a different experience to reach for my ginger and garlic chilies and all of these amazing things, and I made it and it was beautiful and the whole family ate it, and lo and behold I was actually better the next day.
That's great.
You know, maybe it was a bit to do like mind body, I don't know,
maybe,
who knows, but either way, and I thought, you know, this is what it's all about, and it was all safe, easy, accessible things that tasted delicious. And that's the thing with, you know, your approach in Doctor's Kitchen. It's not really kind of boring, kind of just healthy for healthy sake type food. It's amazing to eat.
I'm a really big passionate believer in flavour as well as function. And healthy eating shouldn't be boring, it shouldn't be one-dimensional, it should be embracing all different cultures. So, you know, in my book you'll find Korean food, Japanese, Indian, obviously, Middle Eastern, British, European, and modern European, British cuisines, all that kind of stuff. Because as a GP in London in particular, I'm exposed to so many different cultures. I couldn't just prescribe one sort of way of eating. It has to be inclusive of everyone.
Yes.
And that's something that I'm a really big passionate believer in. And what you talked about there with stress and the whole mental aspect, I think is super important, because as we've been learning over the last couple of days, stress and the psychology around eating or just your day in general certainly has an impact on your inflammasome, your environment, your internal chemistry.
Yes.
And so the enjoyment of eating is something that we need to nurture as well.
Yeah.
We can't be restricted about it.
So right, and in fact, it's something that a lot of the speakers have stressed when they're talking about the gut and the health of the gut.
Yeah.
They're not just talking about what we eat, but it's kind of like have a laugh at yourself and and just spend time with people whose company you enjoy.
Yeah.
And then there's gratitude, which has popped up a lot, and I know that's something that you feel really passionate about, like I do. So tell us a little bit about your Instagram stories.
Yeah, I just started doing that when I was in India about a year and a half ago now. And I was only going to do 15 days as an experiment.
And it's a daily.
It's a daily.
This is what I'm grateful for. 3 things.
Yeah, so it's 3 things that I'm grateful for every day. I just think of something, and it can be random. It can be the cashier at my local supermarket. We had a conversation, or I was in my car and someone let me in, or something major like I've been accepted onto a program, or I'm giving a speech somewhere, or I got some really good feedback from a patient. There's little moments in our daily life that we gloss over at the end, or we cloud with negative thoughts or images, because there is so much negativity in today's world, particularly with news and social media and everything else. It's really important to hold on to those positive aspects, and that really just put me in a very good mind state, and I think it helps a lot of people as well.
Yeah.
And anecdotally, at least, I know loads of people have messaged me to say, it's a really good exercise, and they're really grateful for the fact that I've brought them to it. So
it's great.
It's cool.
And there's so much research now to show how it helps physiologically, with everything from improved sleep to reduced blood pressure. And it's something that, as a functional medicine health coach, I encourage all my clients to keep a gratitude journal.
Yeah.
And it's such an easy, quick thing to do that has such wide-ranging benefits. So I think it's really lovely that you, as a doctor, are role modelling this, idea of being grateful and appreciating what you have.
You'd be surprised. I was at a Royal College of Emergency Medicine Wellness Day the other day. So they're celebrating 50 years of being a Royal College. And one of the emergency medicine consultants did a whole lecture on gratitude and how she brings in gratitude on a daily basis. She's had a long shift. She can still figure or remember some elements of gratitude, like she didn't have to have an argument with the specialty about accepting a patient, for example. Those little things, even though she has clearly a stressful life being an ER consultant, it's very, very impactful, and I think a lot more conventionally trained doctors are appreciating the value of mindset.
And that's so exciting that we're seeing an emergence of younger, forward-looking, dynamic doctors like you, like Ron Chatterjee.
Thanks,
and it's just amazing to see this shake-up. And it feels like there's really a sea change going on. I feel that. What do you think has changed? Why is now the time that we're seing a doctor producing a cookbook?
I know.
It's taken a long time. For the longest time, really, it was just Jamie Oliver, who I feel had done the most to change how the nation eats, and then suddenly we've now got actual healthcare professionals coming through. So why now?
I think the state of our health has changed massively over the last couple of decades. We're seeing a lot more chronic disease. We're seeing a lot more dissatisfaction with the health service, particularly with our model of healthcare, which is very pharmaceutical focused and algorithm focused, I believe. So I think we are generally becoming a lot more holistic. The other thing is, I think we're seeing a lot of either ourselves or our close family members experiencing what our patients have traditionally experienced, whether that be diabetes, cardiovascular disease, or mental health, or immune or autoimmune issues. And we see it from a patient's perspective, and we are demanding different ways of seeing things or doing things to try and help people. And when you experience it yourself and you see the benefits, as I have, then it's quite hard to practice a very regimented model of healthcare. And that's why I think we're being a little bit more open-minded and explorational about different ways in which we can engage people, motivate them, and treat them as well. So that's what led me to creating a YouTube channel and
so where can
writing a
people
book
find
and stuff.
you if they want to watch you creating these recipes?
So you go to my website is thedoctorskitchen.com, and my Instagram is doctors_kitchen, and you can find my book on Amazon and in some good bookstores as well.
And it's an amazing book.
Thank you very much.
I highly recommend it. So thank you so much. It's
no
great
worries.
to chat to you.
Yeah, it's good chatting to you too.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Bye now.